Morning everybody. Just getting myself comfy. Oh, hope you're all okay. Sorry I'm a bit late this morning. We are homeschooling at the moment and my eldest had a Teams get together with her class at 9:30. It's only meant to last till 10, but it ran over. They were all so excited to see each other. It was lovely. Okay, so this morning I've got a bit of a colour challenge for you. One of the blogs that I follow is the Just Add Ink challenge, and it's really fun. Challenges are a great way to kind of create, approach your card making a bit differently, or your projects, and it's quite nice to get involved in the community as well. So today's colour challenge is a bit of a Christmas vibe. So I'm going to be using some of the products that are sadly going to be retiring at the end of December. Some of them you'll be able to pick up at a bargain price from tomorrow, so you'll find out more about that as the day goes on, I'm sure. Behind the scenes, I'm busy working on my newsletter for my customers and updating some of the images, so it makes it easier for you to understand. It's all in a document that looks a bit like this, which isn't very pretty or easy to look at, so I'm creating something a bit easier for you all so you'll be able to see what's what. So, welcome to everyone who's joined so far. Thanks for hopping on this morning. I hope your Monday's not been too stressful so far. We'll have a nice bit of calm card making, or calm I hope anyway. So I'm going to pause the video to move my camera around so you can see my desk, and then we will get started. So I hope you're sitting comfortably. Okay, so let's just do it so you can see my desk. So you should be able to see my grid paper. We've still got the remnants of last night's Bumblebee stamping. So I'm going to be using, the colour challenge for today is Pear Pizzazz, Real Red and Mossy Meadow. Now that colour combination absolutely screams Christmas to me. So let's get started, and we'll use the Joy dies. Now the Joy dies are in the August to December mini catalogue, and sadly they shall be leaving us at the end of December, which means that once stocks have sold out, they won't be on sale ever again. So they're currently on, you can currently purchase them for £30, but from tomorrow they go down to just £15. It's 50% off. How amazing is that? And actually you don't need the stamp set to use these dies at all, and they are super fun to use and really easy as well. The stamp set was also retiring, so Cheerio, Peace and Joy, that disappears at the end of December as well. Not reduced, the stamp set, but the dies are. So you can currently buy them as a bundle for £42.25, but from tomorrow you can buy the stamp set for £17 and the dies for £15. So bargain price of £32 for both of them if they're still on your wish list. So let's get crafting. So the Peace and Joy dies look like this. So you have 3 layers to them. So we'll take Joy, because they're called the Joy dies. So you have this lovely detailed Joy word. You then have the outline that goes over the top, and then you have the background that goes behind that. So they layer up really nicely. So you have Peace, you have Bright, and you have Joy. So 9 dies in total. I would probably say that that's my absolute highlight from the sale, in that they're my most used dies and they're super cheap. What more can we want? In other news, we're going to be using the Heartwarming Hugs DSP. Now this DSP isn't retiring, it's actually going to carry over until the annual catalogue. So you'll actually be able to buy this until at least June of 2021, which is brilliant because actually it's fab DSP, it's gorgeous colours, it screams Christmas, and actually some of them can be used not just for Christmas. So really nice papers. I've used these a lot and I have a lot left over, so I was quite happy to see that they are staying put. So moving on to our card today, we have a real red card base. This is a book fold card, so it's half a piece of A4 cardstock that I've scored and then folded in half again. To that I'm going to add a layer of Whisper White card, and I want one for the middle, for inside the card, and I want one for outside. So I'm going to cut that down. I'm going to cut the strip to measure 10 centimetres wide, and then if we turn that around, we're going to line it up at 14.4 centimetres and cut, and we're going to line it up at 14.4 centimetres again and cut. Okay, so you end up with just a little bit left over, which isn't too much wastage. So the idea is that one piece is for inside and one piece is for outside. Okay. Now, using these gorgeous papers, we are going to cut a few little strips. Okay. And we're going to cut these at an angle. So I'm going to pop it in my trimmer. Now this is all done by eye. Okay, and we're going to do a bit of paper piecing this morning. And we are going to quite literally just mix and match those pieces. So the trick when you're doing paper piercing is you always want one straight edge. So for example, this is my straight edge and this is my diagonal edge. So for this next piece, we're going to pop it in on the straight, and then we're going to, and then what you do is you match up your lines, okay, with the thick piece at the top and the thin piece at the bottom. We'll go through this in a bit more detail in a while, but just so that you can get the idea of what I'm doing. So we've got a diagonal one, we'll flip it over, and we'll get a straight edge piece. So you want to have enough of these pieces so that it takes you right the way across your card. Okay, so that is our diagonal and this is our straight edge. And there really is a lovely mixture. Oh, look at that, I love that stripe. Happy, happy papers for a Monday morning. That's what we like to see. Paper piecing is really a great way of using up lots of scrap pieces of cardstock that you've kind of got in your stash. You don't need much at all to create a really nice card. Okay. There we have all of our pieces for our card. Are you okay, Floss? My daughter's sitting behind me. So then what we're going to do is we're going to lay our pieces on our card and we're going to push that piece right up to the end. And then all we're going to do is alternate them like so. And this is where it really doesn't matter what shape you've kind of cut your pieces, because you're just alternating them with the thick edge one end and the thin edge the other, and vice versa. Okay. I'm just doing this for eye at the moment, just to make sure that we've got enough. Actually, let's have this piece here, because that's got a thinner. It feels weird seeing stripes that have been cut in that sort of way. Okay, like so. So that becomes our pieces. Now what we do is we stick these down, and I'm going to use a little bit of wet glue for this, and I'm going to put my wet glue to start with on the actual card. And we're going to pop that right on the edge. Okay. And then our next piece, I'm going to glue like so. And this really comes together because of that alternating. It's a shame I'm not going to be able to get all of these on here, because they're all such lovely, lovely colours. And they go in really well with our colour challenge as well. It's quite therapeutic to sit and put this together. It's like doing a jigsaw puzzle. Okay. Like so. You can do this with as many patterns as you like. There's no set number that you need. The thinner you cut them, the more pieces you'll need, obviously. But I think it looks really nice with all of these different papers that we've got here. And like I said, these papers are carrying over, so if you have these in your stash, you can save them all to use next Christmas. Okay, so now you've got all your pieces together, what you need to do is just trim off. I'm using my really big scissors, but you can use your trimmer again, or you can use your snips. Ta-da! So there we have our scrappy strip paper piercing, and we can then add that to our card front like that. I think it's fab. I love it. So there's no measurements to that other than cutting your piece of white to start with. It's all done by eye. And we can just pop that on our card front like so. Okay, so now let's bring in some of these lovely joy pieces, and I'm going to grab some cardstock, so bear with me. So we've got Real Red, Mossy Meadow and Pear Pizzazz. So here are my three colours. So let's have Joy as that one, we'll have the background of that one, and we'll have them like so. So I'm going to run those through my die machine, which is just behind me on my trolley. Quite excited because the mini one should be with me this morning, or today at some point. I'm going to run these through my machine, which is here. I will show you in a second. Morning Sue. Sue's just popped on that she's here. Thanks for saying hello. Sorry you're late. No worries at all, Sue. Hope you've had a nice morning so far. So right, here we have our background piece. We then have our outline piece, and we have our joy. So let's just pop all those little pieces out. Oh, that one's stayed put. It's a little bit stubborn. It must know it's Monday. Okay, so we have joy, joy, and joy in the centre. So there we have our lovely little trio of dies. And now I actually think we will lose that on that card. So if we pop that on there, it goes a bit missing, doesn't it? So to get that more into the forefront, I've got a lovely piece of vellum, and I have a circle die. Let's have a little circle die, shall we? So these are the layering circles, and you have a scalloped layer and you have a plain layer. So I'm going to just die cut that out. Here we have our little circle. Pop that to one side. So now this will stand out that little bit more. Not much, but a little bit. Okay, so we can now start to bring this together. So I'm going to attach that one with some dimensionals, some mini dimensionals. And what I love about these is how when you layer them all together, it really just all comes together nicely. Okay, Sue's, but she's looking for inspiration for her last few cards to make. This is a great one too if you've got Christmas DSP to use up. And you can just add your sentiment and let the papers do all the work for you. Okay, so let's have a little bit of joy there, but let's put some ribbon under that. I'm going to use this braided linen thread, which is just lovely. Just going to cut a couple of little strips of this. Let's just pop that down there. Oops. And I'm going to pop that on with just a little bit of tear tape. Not too much because we don't want to see it. We'll cut those strands off in a moment, and then we can stick on our circle. And I'm going to use some mini dimensionals again because I've run out of normal size. They are on their way in my order that is due today. Like so. And then we can stick our joy down nice and flat. There, like so. And then all we're going to do is we're just going to trim off. I'm going to let them stick out a little bit. Okay, and then to finish, I did have them here. I have a couple of frosted epoxy drops, which are, sorry, these are clear ones, and these are in the annual catalogue. And they're super handy for Christmas. So there we have our little joy card with some paper piecing. I want to say piercing, but it's not, it's piecing, isn't it? And we can just stick this in. like so. Okay, so that's our first card made for you this morning. What do you think? Let me know your thoughts. So we've got our lovely colour combination of Mossy Meadow, Real Red and Pear Pizzazz there for the Just Add Ink challenge this week. We've got our lovely paper piecing with the Heartwarming Hugs DSP, which is sticking around till 2021, 2022 actually. And the lovely Joy dies are actually being retired at the end of December. Now, it wouldn't be right to use these dies without using the stamp set one last time. So let's just grab the stamp set, which is behind me on my new shelf. So Peace and Joy, this is also retiring. This is £17. And it's absolutely fab. I love it. So I will show you. We will make another card using that. Let's grab some Real Red cards. You know, let's have some Mossy Meadow. Have I got Mossy Meadow cardstock? I do. Okay, so let's, card number 2. Bright and perky. Love that description, Roshni. I might have to steal that if that's okay. I'd love to say that I'm bright and perky, but not on a Monday. Not on a Monday morning for sure. So let's do a 10th fold card. So I'm lining this up at 10.5 and cutting. And then I'm going to turn and line up at 14.9 and score. So this then gives us a different style of card in that it opens like so and it stands like a 10. It will in a minute when I've just gone over that score line. So people are talking about orders. It said held up at Eurotunnel due to disruption, but now I want to know what disrupted it is, as I'm nosy. So mine was due today as well. I wonder if mine is involved in that disruption. Oh no, I will have a look after this. Now, I did have a piece of Whisper White here. It's here. So let's do a similar sized. So let's go for a 9cm piece. And we'll go to 13.4 centimetres. So we have a nice 1 centimetre border around our card, and we'll have another one for inside. And then that's Mossy Meadow. Let's see if I've got any Real Red cardstock that we can use for that lovely nail. I do. I love it when this happens. So let's go to 13.9, so just a little bit bigger, and we'll go to 9.5. So this is just making like so. So you should be safe, Stacey, as mine was due tomorrow originally. Changed my office day, so I'll be, oh no, that's rubbish. Feel free, Colette, if you want to have it directed here, and I'm in all day tomorrow. So I can be your postman, or I can hold it to ransom. Right, so there we have our little mount. So we've got a 13.4 centimetre by 9 centimetre piece of white. We've gone up by 0.5 centimetre for the red. And now let's do some lovely, lovely stamping. So I'm actually going to use this here as a little template. Okay, so using a pencil. Now the cutting piece of this circle is this centre. So I'm going to actually go around the centre. Okay. So I've just laid that so it's roughly in the middle of my card. And I've drawn around the inside of that circle. Okay. And then we're going to use some of our lovely stamps. That it's always a surprise when the retiring list comes out, because you think, oh, this product's been really well used, you know, it's going to stick around. But actually, we've had these products for 6 months, and what I found with last year's products that were retired, that remained, I didn't really use them this year because there was so much good stuff, new good stuff in the Christmas catalogue that I just had to have. So actually it changes the way I view things. I'm quite happy that things kind of come and go because it means I get to play with new stuff when it comes out. And I do think I've exhausted these stamps. So we have our circle, and I'm going to stamp these lovely leaves all the way around the edge. So I'm going to make sure that it overlaps that line. So I'm starting with Mossy Meadow. And I tend to do things in odd numbers. Okay, so that's our Mossy Meadow. And then we'll use the other one. Imagine what's going to be coming up for next year. I know, this year was just the most amazing Christmas catalogue I think Stampin' Up have ever done. So it does fill me with excitement for next year. And you guys, you know, you've got the spring summer one coming out in January, and my gosh, they've pulled it out the bag for that. There are some stunning things in that catalogue. Okay, and now let's have a little bit of holly because we love a bit of holly. I can see a few people have just joined. Good morning. I hope you're all okay. So I have a little bit of holly there, and I'm trying really hard to not go over that edge. Like so. Now for the red is going to come into it with the dots for the holly, but I'm not going to stamp that. Oh no, I will actually, because you will see that in some of it. Okay, so for the holly, I just have these lovely berries we're going to stamp in real red. Like so. Now we want to cut a lovely circle of Whisper White. So we'll bring back in our original circle here. Like so. I'll just run that through my die machine. And that's going to go on there. I know we've lost the holly, but all will become clear in a moment. Now, onto that real red. Let's bring our scallop circles in. Let's see which one is which. So the scallop circles are just a little bit bigger than the plain circles. So these are a great set of dies. Just helping Floss plug the right. Welcome. See what I'm making. So these now mount together. The walls are closing in on my desk now, and these are going to go together like so. But before we do that, let's lay our circle down, and then with those dots and the real red stamp, like so. Okay, so that can now be added to our scallop circle. Then we line that back up and we can add that with some dimensionals, which I'm ever so sorry, I only have small ones in stock at the moment. I don't know how I have run out. Oh, I do know, it's because I was doing my advent calendar last week. Like so. Okay, so the card is now starting to come together. So now let's put it together and then we will create our little sentiment. It's a 10-fold card, isn't it? Let's just make sure. Oh, see, that was upside down then. That would have been disastrous, wouldn't it? Okay, so our card is now starting to look like a card. So let's have a little bit of peace, shall we? Yeah, peace is nice. So let's add this to our block, and then we've got our scrap of Whisper White, and we're going to stamp this. What colour should we do this in? Should we do this in Pear Pizzazz, I think, or red? Let's do it in red. Decisions this morning. Your advent calendar was amazing. Oh, bless you. Thank you. That's really kind of you, Roshni. It was a labour of love. It took me almost a whole Sunday to sit there and cut out and put together. And I was watching a few Christmas films, I won't lie, at the time. So it wasn't like I had nothing else to do. So that's our stamping. And this is how this stamp set goes together with the dies. So we now have the outline of that word, which we can place over like so. And I'm just going to put some washi tape on there just to hold that in place. If anyone has any Stampin' Up washing tape that they'd like to send me, I'd be very grateful. So piece is just going to be popped on like so. And then this, just peel that off. Morning, Denise. It is still morning. Not for much longer, but it is still morning. So there we have peace. Okay. And then using our Mossy Meadow, we can pull out our lovely background and die cut that out. So this is Mossy Meadow. So it's still sticking with that lovely colour challenge for this week's Just Add Ink blog, and then this can be mounted onto there like so. So what I love about these is it's just so clean with that little white border. It just makes everything come together. Okay. Denise, I have good news. Your order should be with me today, which is very exciting. Just need to check that there's not been any hold-ups, because someone's just put on here that there may be some hold-ups at the Channel Tunnel, so I'll just double check that. But yes, it should be here today, which is very exciting. So you will have these dies to play with at home. So we have our lovely piece like so, and then down here we've got our holly, which is quite sweet, but I'm gonna just stamp a holly here because I feel that that's just not sticking out very well. It looks a bit odd. Let's just stamp one of these. You will collect as soon as you hear from me. Okay, my darling. I will look forward to seeing you very briefly on the doorstep. Because a Stacey card isn't a Stacey card without some fussy cutting, is it? I'm just trimming around here. Leaving that little white border to keep in with the clean look to the card. I just feel like it needs a bit of an embellishment rather than leaving plain like that. So then now if we grab a glue dot, like so, that's better, I'm happier now. And then I have some lovely red gems. Which are just going to bring this all together. That's better. And then we just need to add our little extra sentiment. So we've got peace on earth. Peace on earth sounds amazing right now, doesn't it? And we'll have that in Pear Pizzazz. Oh dear, my guys have just fallen on the floor. Told you the walls were closing in on my desk. On there. And then we'll just give that a little fussy. I will miss these block sentiments. Stampin' Up, if you're listening, can we have, please, a whole stamp set full of these block sentiments for lots of occasions like birthday, anniversary, Valentine's Day, Christmas. Just a whole stamp set would be lovely. Please, if you're listening, I'd love it if you answered my Christmas wish. That's my Christmas wish, apart from coronavirus, to bugger off and leave us alone.
I want snow.
Florence would like snow. Oh, to be 8 years old. Okay, so there we have our little finished Christmas front, like so. And then this was meant to be my piece for inside, so let's just cut another one. So we've got 13.4 by 9 centimetres. And then before we stick that in, so we've got this one in the Mossy Meadow. And we've got this one in Pear Pizzazz. Like so. Let me know your thoughts, guys. It's always nice to hear what you think. Did I have another piece of red for that inside? I don't think I did I? No. And there we have one-dimensional is magically stuck itself to the inside. There we have our finished Christmas card with a bit of stamping. So those are the two designs for today. The first one, the reason we've gone with those is because I'm using them for a colour challenge with Mossy Meadow, Real Red and Pear Pizzazz. Those are my three colours. And we've used the Heartwarming Hugs DSP here to do a little bit of paper piecing with our lovely joy dies down the bottom. mounted together. And then here we've used the stamp set, the Peace and Joy stamp set, and the dies to create that lovely display of leaves and holly. So that's it for me today. If you weren't listening at the beginning, or you weren't here at the beginning, that's absolutely fine. I did mention that the Joy dies are on sale from tomorrow. Here in the UK they are £15 from tomorrow. They are only available while stocks last, so once they've sold out they are gone. You will not be able to buy them again. The stamp set remains at £17, so you can purchase the 2 for £32 from tomorrow, and I'd get in there quickly if I was you. So that's it from me today. Thank you so much for spending a bit of your morning with me. I hope you've enjoyed my creations. If you have any comments or questions on anything I've used or done today, please do drop me a message. My next live will be Wednesday evening, right here, and it will be, no idea what it will be yet because I haven't designed it. But anyway, have a great week guys. Thanks so much for joining this morning, and I hope to speak to you all very, very soon. Bye for now.